down the road. Game number 5 coming up on deck is M80 and OXG. M80 only had one game to play yesterday, and they only have one game to play today. So technically, they had the easiest first week schedule of any team that it's possible to have. And Sonics did play Dark Zero earlier on Nighthaven and sustained the first ever recorded loss on Nighthaven Labs in Rainbow Six history.
Yeah, OXG yet to find the win on that map. We'll see if they try it again for the second one up here. But M80 now, they've obviously been looking great so far. Every single one of their players breaking 120 EPS, except for Kino, but he's their hard support. You know, he's doing what he needs to do. Still having some great impact for the team. What we saw from this team yesterday was really, really good late rounds. Even though they were going down pretty often against Dark Zero and Border, their post-plant positioning was spectacular. Very objective focus, making sure they get on that disable and making sure that they're always in a good spot to deny any players coming through and locking down the round late.
Yeah, I mean, to touch up on exactly what you were saying, those post plants, those were massive. Playing those situations, playing those spots, holding it down, making sure that you're securing that round. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, I really like the way that we've seen some of these players playing, particularly Diaz. I thought in that second half against Dark Zero on attack, you know, he was very patient. His drones were really, really good. He's a player that we don't always highlight because he is kind of a quiet guy.
But we should, because he's great.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the entry frag or anything like that, but he is one of those support players that I think has been very solid for the team. We've got a video clip that plays in the breaks where he says he thinks he's one of the best in the world, and he absolutely is.
I was just going to reference that. I mean, that's the winning mentality. That's the individual mentality that you need if you want to be the best. You got to believe that you are the best in the lobby, or at least one of the best in the world.
I want to give us a challenge. It's relatively minor because I think everybody on this team is capable of helping us meet said challenge. We need to find other things to talk about on this team than just Spoit. I know it might not be popular with the Twitch chat crowd. I know you might just want to, I mean, it's the Bolo complex when he was on TSM, right? It's kind of the same fan base. But so many things that this team does are more than just the efforts of one player, even if they are so monumental and so incredible, because Spoit's great. But there's other things we can talk about for M80, and so far everyone looks like they're stepping up.
It's a tall task for Demo. I don't know if he's going to be able to handle that.
Well, I'll say this. There's a player specifically that I want to talk about on M80 is Gomez. Gomez is a player that sticks out to me, and experiencing my personal experience playing against him, Gomez isn't necessarily the flashy player when you look at that entire roster, but he is a player that gets the job done. You might not see it, you know, if it's not getting captured, but just know Gomez is a player, if you give him a task or you set him up for success, he is running away with it.
Yeah, he's the type of player who kind of has to be an every person as well. He's got to be here, he's got to be there, trading his teammates. I think when we've seen him the strongest is when he is playing around with people. I think sometimes you get kind of iconic or Spoit being these more solo players. Right. They do play together, especially on the entry trades as well. But Gomez can be that guy who, working with the team, can really turn things on the head for their opponents. So I agree. I think Gomez has been fantastic so far from M80. You see that 138 EPS, and looking forward to seeing what he can do today.
Through the entirety of play to number 1, he was the 3rd highest rated player in the lobby. Again, only had to play the one map because that was against DZ on Border, and very clearly they still have some things to figure out on that map, especially when it comes to the attacks. But Gomez was the front runner, and it's phenomenal to see him on a cadre of players who all individually are stacked just by themselves. And when you put them all together, that's the team that we're kind of hoping can be the front runner to go to Atlanta and actually help us defend home turf for the most part. Oxygen is their opponent on the opposite side of things, and they just played Nighthaven Labs earlier in the day, but I don't even know how much we can say that's a problem because it's Nighthaven and we kind of all have to go through that growing process together, right?
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about Nighthaven. It is a brand new map. It's a small serving size, so again, I think you just wash it. Don't worry about it. And again, Oxygen's no strangers to a loss. They know what it's like. They've been through it. They know how to get past it. And I think, you know, they're going to fix it. And they're going to play probably a map that's a little more familiar to them going into this game.
Yeah, I would hope so. And obviously, OXG, you know, they did lose earlier today, but they still found that win yesterday right up against Beast Coast. And so I think that they are still going to be feeling pretty good about themselves coming into this match against M80 in a more presumably familiar territory. We've seen, I think, Yaga had a great game yesterday. We saw, obviously, Fox pop off as well and have some great moments there for Oxygen. So I'm really excited to see what this team does against M80, who obviously a lot of history there between these two teams.
Right. I mean, I hope to see that we see the M80 that we saw yesterday. I want this, like I said, it was either the first game of the day or that this was going to be the game of the day. So I really hope we see M80 give that same ferocity against OXG in this game.
Let's figure out where we're heading for this bad boy. Either we're going to the Nighthaven again because Oxygen have a bone to pick with that map because they lost it already, but no, they banned it first, and instead we get Kafe.
Interesting that M80 banned the Chalet there. I kind of thought we would end up on Chalet, but they kind of throw a curveball right at the end. We're going to Kafe instead. For M80, they played this map for the very first time and lost to G2 back at Gamers 8. Otherwise, it's not a map that they've shown very often at all. And Oxygen on Kafe, pretty familiar. 2-0 in stage 1. They did lose to both W7M and SSG Academy in the offseason, but still, they're comfy here on Kafe.
This is no surprise to me seeing Oxygen pick Kafe, playing with them, seeing them. Cafe's a strong map for them. I'm not too sure about M80. I don't have the stats on my iPad, unfortunately, to look that up. But the fact of the matter is that it is on Kafe. This is a very, very strong map for Oxygen.
We're not getting OXG on a map that nobody understands how to play yet. We're getting two seemingly very good teams on a map that everyone should be super familiar with. So, before we jump into game, Lax, who wins?
Oxygen.
Jesse?
M80.
I love it when they fight. Even when they're not actually fighting, they're just stating who they think is going to win. I'm going to have to find a reason to throw a hand grenade in the middle of this at some point. But not for right now, because M80 and Oxygen are rearing and ready to go on Kafe. It's going to be Demo and Flynn with the call for map 5.
Thank you, boys, and welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. We are just moments away from getting started. M80 and Oxygen on Kafe. This should be good, like the Death said. Potentially game of the week, certainly game of the day after DZ OXG kinda did not live up to the hype on Nighthaven Labs. I'm Flynn. I'm joined by Demo once again, and Demo, this is looking like possibly two of the titans of NA facing off.
Yeah, I would have said that last stage. I just think M80 are on a completely different planet to every other team in this league. I just do. I think M80 are far and above the rest of the teams in this league. It's not as if I'm saying the league is terrible and they're the only good team. It's just M80, I think, are up there as one of the best in the world. I do. I think the way that they play Siege, sure, the Copenhagen Major didn't go too well for them, but we know this team just keeps getting stronger. Every game they play, they just look better and better and better. I'll die on that hill. I think they're really up there at the moment with the Siege that they play. Really surprised to see the map. We see a Kafe from M80. This is their least preferred map in the pool. So very surprising to see this come out here today, but maybe this has been something that the coaching staff have been working on, something that they've been experimenting with, and they're going to practice it against Oxygen here today, which is a fairly okay map for Oxygen, one that they're happy enough to play.
I'm a little disappointed because on social media, there was Bodega and Foxe both yelling at each other saying they were going to go to Nighthaven. OXG,
yeah.
The OXG played Nighthaven earlier today.
Maybe
it didn't go well.
Maybe that's
Fox responded and said, how about Consulate? So I thought we were going to get a Consulate game. No, we get a Kafe game, a map we've already had today on the NAL. And a map that both of these teams know how to play. Like you said, it's not one of M80's favorites. But at the end of the day, they will be starting on the defense to start things off, which should give them a slight edge, a slight advantage. The operator bands coming out, Flores, Brava, Fenrir, and Azami. So at least one of those new operators introduced as well. Fenrir not at the disposal for either of these teams to start things off.
Yeah, the issue that we're getting through now is just with a lot of strong operators being added in. There's still a lot of strong operators available. Rob, Valkyrie's up. Mira is another one that's also available. There's still a lot of things that the attackers are going to have to try and go through. We see a Ram be locked in there by Oxygen. So a bit of Ram is always fun to see. The biggest thing about this operator for me, it's not the case that she does vertical really easily, which, I mean, let's be honest, right? Buck can do that. Sledge can do that. Sophia, Ash can do that with breaching charges. The thing that really sets Ram apart from any other breacher is that you're not going to get C4'd. That is the main reason why I feel as though Ram is really good. It just gives you that safety feature. It will do all the same thing that those other operators do that I just mentioned, but you're not going to die to C4. That is the big thing for Ram.
Well, you're going to be sad because Dream got off the ramp.
This always happens. How many times does this happen? You talk about an operator, you big them up, and then it just gets traded away.
Yeah, Dream repicks onto the IQ. Like you said, with the Valkyrie still in play, you're going to need an IQ to be able to spot those Valkyrie cameras because they will be devastating. And it looked like we were going to see M80 head to the top floor to start things off on the defense, but instead they will head to reading and dining. So that Ram actually could have been pretty valuable. The amount of soft destruction over towards Cocktail and Bar and Freezer floor onto the objective would have been really nice. Honestly, top floor is really the only bomb site where I can imagine Ram not being all that useful.
Yeah, that's naturally what's going to happen with Ram throughout the course of her career inside of Siege. Is top floor, yeah, not going to be too helpful there, but certainly for basement sites, that's where we'll start to see Ram really excel in her own right. Oxygen are going to try and play their kind of style of Siege where they're going to try and take it slow, figure out what they want to go for. You know, I think Oxygen are a team where you don't really see too many, you know, quick pushes from them, quick rushes. They are very, you know, part of the course. They just want to get in, do their job, and do it well.
A lot of action outside the Pillar's doorway from Snow Balcony, but no one actually entering in. It was Newers and Fox both on the Cocktail Repels right now, looking to find some action. But as we approach the midway point in the round, it should be noted, Oxygen not really getting a move on here. They're taking their sweet time to get in for their entry to the top floor. And again, the bomb site is one floor below that. The vault through Skylight now as the Candelas come out. Good tandem here for OXG jumping over Foxe and Fish together. Clear out Bar, and it wasn't really as if M80 was holding much topside. There was a Kaid claw onto the bathroom walls on the top floor to be able to slow down a breach into there, but other than that, not a whole lot of positioning upstairs for M80.
M80 looking for the C4s from below. Some yellow pings, maybe going to be for a pre-place, then some information going to be fed over. Just wait now and see if that sledge is going to have issues, and this is what I talked about with the Ram. It would have been really helpful to have her because you don't have to worry about these C4s coming in to ruin your day. Fox will open up those angles. It looks down in towards the laundry rotates. That's going to be essential for holding on as you try and go for that plant towards reading. There is still some Candelas that they can utilize here, Rob, to try and help them with that execute, but there's the C4. We knew it was coming, Rob, and there we have it. Dream goes down.
Push coming up the white stairs as the smoke grenade hits Fish on the way over. Yaga will grab Spoit, though. A battle on white stairs results in Kino picking off Fish with a shotgun at point-blank range. His ascent up the stairs successful. A beautiful shot there from Newers onto the new balcony, but he has to go for the revive of Fox Ace as the 3v3 down to the 2v3 to the 2v2 now as Kino and Yaga will both trade out. Kino with 3 on the round now, vaulting over the railing into pillars, but with no time remaining, Kino's last stand from new balcony as the flanking smoke will be enough to give M80 the round.
My, oh my. That was a bit hectic as we moved into the final 10 seconds. But it is M80 who will prevail. Auction just a little bit too slow, and I actually think their initial taking of the top floor, it seemed to me, Rob, that really M80, they weren't really looking to hold it too heavily. They dropped off pretty early. I actually think if Auction just picked up their pace just by maybe 30 seconds, they maybe could have had that because everything else to the build-up of that looked good. They kept their Ying alive, which was a big thing because you want to have her for the final execute. You had the vertical angles open, so you can hold for that default plant. But yeah, just didn't have enough time to really get things going. And I think M80, they play into that chaos. If M80 know that you're up against it with time, they'll do some wacky stuff just to make it all the more difficult.
We've seen like 17 operators be cycled through here for OXG and repick phase. We had a Montaigne, that's gone. We have a Ram coming out again. Now we have a Cali coming out as well from Fish. This is a peculiar lineup.
I wish, is this NAL or is this APAC?
Hey man, we might be setting the meta. Like Troy always said, do you want to be meta followers or do you want to be meta setters?
Maybe they see the clash and they think, we're not going to deal with trying to nade the clash, let's just bring the Cali. I think that's probably a good option for them. The only thing that they're going to struggle with this lineup is only 2 hard breach gadgets. It doesn't give them a lot of options. Realistically, they're going to get the hatch open with one of them and then maybe get the freezer wall. That's what they're limited to. Everything else is going to cause some issues. The good news is that for Kitchen, that's really all you need if you want to go for a freezer take is open up the hatch and open up the wall. Everything else you don't really need to worry about. Bakery can go untouched. I like the addition of having this ram. It's going to be great to open up all of the angles. Bear in mind that for a freezer take, you can open up every single inch of that kitchen with the ram. So shouldn't cause too many issues for them. The main thing that I want to see from Oxygen is how well they can clear out the players inside of VIP and restaurant. That is where M80 are going to put all their eggs in the basket. That's what they need to take.
Yeah, it'll be Spoit and Kino playing VIP and Whiskey Bar for the moment. Foxe has that ram in his back pocket, all 3 drones still available, and he will start using them to start ripping up the floor inside of mining, and it will go through the wall and onto the soft floor in train. Onto the objective, kitchen ceiling getting disintegrated, but so is Foxe now. Only gets 1 boogie drone down, and Dias's Nitro will claim his life and set him to rest. There goes the can opener from Dream on the Capitao to open up the freezer hatch. So this execute, while they have lost the ram, they've lost basically all of their soft breach. There still has been a good amount of it opened up onto the kitchen side at the very least. So this execute onto the backside, if they can clear out VIP, like you said, is still doable.
I can't believe I made a whole speech about Ram's great for not getting C4'd, and then he dies to a C4. It's just, you can't make it up. You can't. This is really going to hinder them because they only got a small portion. Realistically, now, if you're M80, knowing that you've got that first pick, 1 being a ram, they know that the deep side of kitchen is going to be fairly intact. They can play deep. They can hold those long angles. They can challenge the guys as they push in towards freezer. Not the best of plays from Fox, losing that C4, and it's really going to cost the team.
They haven't cleared out Spoit inside of VIP either.
Bad.
One smoke bolt will be utilized to facilitate the jump in. Dream will pop in, but the Clash will be spotting him.
There's the
Iconic
Clash.
will be relaying this intel. Dream going for the plant, and a Nitro coming from Whiskey, and Kino hits it. There goes Dream. Having to recover the diffuser now will be OXG, and Spoit is laying down gas everywhere inside of freezer. No possible movement here from Newark other than to the objective. Grab the diffuser, but there's a Clash in his face. Iconic will not let him settle, and there goes Yaga taking down Kino to at least bring it to a 4v2. Fish is not moving. There's no time. And Kino will call them out for baiting. We've had back-to-back baiting accusations so far on the NAL, but that is M80 winning back-to-back defenses of their own.
Just a poor round from Oxygen from start to finish. Losing the ram to a C4. It shouldn't happen. It should not happen, but it has. Dropping into sight with nobody with you, essentially. The Clash just there being an absolute hindrance. Everything went wrong for Oxygen. Everything went to plan if you're M80. And they take a very comfortable 2-0. Oxygen really haven't put a dent into M80's plans at the moment. And they will now opt for, this is probably the bomb site that we see the least inside a Kafe, but it has seen actually quite a bit of an upheaval, Rob. It is going to be the mining and the fireplace. The big reason why I think we're starting to see this bomb site just a little bit more is the fact that it gives you some vertical destruction from below. You can extend in towards kitchen. You can use, Solus below, which is going to be, a big one that we're going to be looking at inside this round is Iconic on that operator. Whereas reading, you don't get that. You really have to hold above, which is, as we know, pretty easy for attackers to take control of. It's almost like a sandwich. You have the 2 options. You can either hold it from above or hold it from below. It's just that extra step that you can add into your arsenal.
For M80, avoiding the top floor like the plague thus far. This is their 3rd defensive round. If they are successful, they have a clean sweep of bomb sites they can continue to rotate through. And as for OXG, looking to get onto the board here somehow through 2 round losses. Yaga has not died yet. That's actually impressive. He'll bring the Nomad and slap some air jabs out the white window and the pillars door to Snowbelt. So for OXG again, to get that top floor control, hopefully faster than the first round. The first attacking round, it was a minute 30 before they really had anyone get into the building. So being able to facilitate this top floor clear and work their way back down towards a mining plant, this will be crucial to be expedited.
Looking for jump out. Snowbird's a little bit cautious. No claymores on the side of Oxygen, so they will struggle with sure the air jabs will hit, but not having the claymore, it doesn't confirm a kill, even if an air jab does go off. Realistically, again, for M80, they're happy just to burn the time down, Rob. Oxygen very slow on the approach. They burn through, what, 1 Goyo canister, and that is it. Everyone else just on the windows. We see a drop come in from Fox as he's going to try and get himself in to take control of that piano. That's the ideal position, as we know, for a sledge to be in. Utilize the sledgehammer. rip open the majority of the floors inside of train and inside of mining. There's the IQ, still being brought just for those Valkyrie cameras, which we mentioned before, Rob, with the very strong defensive pool of operators being Fenrir and Azami being banned out, it leaves the Valkyries up, and well, there's the damage that a Valkyrie camera and a C4 combo can do. Fox gets taken out again. He's on the vertical operators, and he keeps getting C4'd.
This is incredible from M80. The precision with these nitro cells, they are immediate death to any oxygen attackers that enter in the vicinity directly above them. Fish will start breaching open the floorboards in towards reading, but remember, this isn't the site. Mining and dining is the objective. In less than a minute on the clock now. OXG scrambling down Red Hall. Dream with Diffuser will just rush his way on in, pre-aiming into the train walls, but no one here is playing it either for M80. They'll get all the way deep into train. Dream will immediately back on out. Fish taking a lot of damage, and kills go flying back and forth. Yaga will down off and finish Iconic. So we're down to the 2v2, but look at the health on the side of Oxygen. Maybe 15 between the both of them, and Fish with Diffuser is running to the wrong objective. Diaz will claim the life of Yaga, what was left anyway, and about 3 HP remaining on Fish's IQ with the Diffuser, but he's not moving. One above, one below. There's no real easy point of entry to get a plant down. There's no plan here for Fish. He's just praying that someone on M80 will make a mistake and afford him the opportunity. The plant will be attempted to go down here, but Spoit on the immediate drop will come through the rotate, pre-fashioned by M80's defense, and it's a clean sweep now. Oxygen having some struggles here on Kafe's attack.
Here's the issues. One, Fox on vertical operators getting C4'd right off the rip as the first operator, right? That's one issue.
That is bad, yes.
The second is Fish is on IQ. There to check for the Valkyrie cameras. If he is not checking also for pre-play C4s, then I question his ability. Because it looked as if for both C4s, it did feel very pre-placed, especially that last one. It did feel very pre-placed vibes from M80. That should not be happening if you have the IQ. Again, I don't know. I don't know if it was.
It's one of those.
We have to check it, Rob. We're going to have to check it. Going to have to get the VAR up and see the replays. But for the meantime, I question him. I really do.
Well, it's going to force Oxygen to take a timeout, and that will be their timeout for the game surrendered now to try and refocus here and get things back in order. And like you said, if those are pre-placed nitro cells, I didn't see a pre-placed nitro cell when we saw Fish with the scanner out, but, you know, things happen. I did see him pinging a Valkyrie camera, though. So if he's pinging that camera for his teammates and no one's shooting it, that is a problem, first of all. And the second thing is here, if these aren't pre-placed cameras and they aren't off intel, M80, I don't know if they have direct headphone sponsors. I don't know what headphones they use. Everyone should buy them, because that means they're just chucking the things and landing them with 100% accuracy right now.
Yeah. It's worrying, but we have to give credit to M80. I think they know what they're up against. Oxygen are certainly one of the more slower-paced teams. I think with just some of the players that they have, you know, I look at Dream, I look at Fox. Those are really, you know, the two supports. They're not ones that you would really expect to be calling rushes, for example. I just think that you know what you're in for if you're playing Oxygen. You know, pretty slow. They're going to take this. They're going to do that. M80 are a very flexible team. You know, they can adapt to a lot of different environments that they're put in towards. If they know they're playing against a team that will just run down the clock, you see them taking C4s to hurt them, especially look at the picks that they're finding, taking out the vertical operators, and then even bringing in Goyos, for example. That's another big bonus for them, is just slowing down the process of Oxygen even more so.
Well, Fox 8, seemingly absolutely sick of being taken off the board by these nitro cells, will rip the IQ out of Fish's hands and say, screw this, I'm doing it myself. I will keep myself alive with these things. So he's finding the Valkyrie cameras. He spotted 2 of them inside of Piano, one by the minibar and one by stage. So this is, again, a good start here for the IQ, pinging out the cameras, but nobody's removed them yet, and they could still lead to his death.
Oh, it's as if, you know, he's doing it himself now, isn't he? He's fed up with Fish and it's nonsense. He's going to do it himself. Speaking of Fish, he's got himself into a bit of a lurk position here, Rob, as he is close to that triple wall towards Red Stairs, and Iconic is pretty much above him on the hatch. If Iconic does take a tumble, Fish is waiting for him in a trap. But Fish, I don't think, has any idea that Iconic's even on the hatch to begin with. This could be a Terrible game of cat and mouse for
Not so clever
Iconic,
now.
but he's standing firm at the moment. Look at the information that even, Solus can get. Just seeing if there's players on cameras, you can see them on the rooftop. Great value getting out of that scanner. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
Well, there goes Iconic. He dropped into the waiting arms of Fish, who sat there for half the round, but it was well worth it as he collects a free kill. Spoit, though, will trade out Yaga. The sprays go wildly into the laundry wall, try and retaliate and push forward for OXG on their attack, but they've left Diaz upstairs. One on New Balk for Oxygen will try to pressure him, but Diaz wary of this. They crouch behind the mini bar. Perfect timing there for the OXG attackers. Diaz will continue to hold the reading door, and again, we're into the crunch time here now. It looks like it's just Fox alone on a solo mission to clear out the top floor hold from M80. This is getting down to crunch time here. Dream will grab Spoit, though. Fish taking a lot of damage to the shots to the floor. Fox will be successful and is clear on the top side. But again, here comes the flanking smoke of Kino.
Kino, can he do it? I've seen him clutch these before. He's been very impressive as of late. Drops into Laundry, gets lit up from all angles, tries to isolate the 1v1 gunfights, but it's no help to him. Nowhere's is standing ready for him. And Oxygen get their first round. M80 there, Rob, just kind of falling apart there as we hit the minute mark. Just 2 kills open up. But I must say, I like the intensity that Oxygen brought in that round. As soon as they killed Iconic, who dropped that hatch, all credit to Fish, he got his one. Did you see the pace, how quickly then went into Pillar? Just straight in, trying to take control of the map. That's what we need more from Oxygen, is that quick thinking. Be a little bit faster, be a little bit more bold.
Well, yeah, and I mean, honestly, for M80 as well, it looked like they felt completely comfortable topside, especially Gomez, Diaz, on my last round, who was completely comfortable just staring down the kill holes towards reading door. That's his job, and he thinks that the entire top floor hold is successful and that OXG have completely bailed on clearing it, and then here comes a crouch walking Foxay on the IQ to completely dismantle it, and he gets traded out by Kino, but by that point, the damage has been done on site, and it was a perfect distracting moment for Foxay to sneak in there. Really good adaptation to be able to kind of fake them out on that moment and say, I'm just going to feint a little bit that we're just flooding site. Then Fox has the presence of mind to head topside and afford his team the ability to rush through. So it was really nice.
We head down into that kitchen, and this was a disaster class of a round from Oxygen. Way too slow, way too easy as well for M80 just to pick up kills as they came. They've sacked off the ram entirely, back onto the sledge for them as their choice, but maybe they're looking for that vertical take this time, Rob. Mostly because we're seeing a little bit more pressure towards that bakery side. They can maybe look to try and go for a bit of a split push. Only downside to that, of course, is they're not going to be able to get through bakery as long as that clash is alive. They don't have a good lineup to deal with a clash. Sure, you've got nades, which will kill, will go behind the shield and maybe get a nade, but it's very difficult to do so, and especially with Wamai's on board, no hope in going for that. I think the big issue is going to be that clash. That's for me, that's the problem.
Good job from Newers here too. Like we pointed out on border, clearing the Wamai magnets is very crucial to have good effect with those frag grenades.
Especially in Coach.
Especially in Kochek, yes. And VIP, where that deployable shield is already gone. And there goes another frag grenade, comes soaring in, but it won't claim the life of Spoit. He perseveres on, throwing out his second Toxic Babe to repel any kind of advance up the hallway from Garage. Iconic has now retreated from his bakery position in to help, but there goes Dream from the VIP double window. Outside of tables, will grab Spoit. There goes the smoke, eliminated from VIP. Much better targeted round here for OXG on this attack as compared to the last time they attacked this site.
Yeah, a bit of a blunder there from Spoit. He swings for no reason. Nobody can pressure him in that double window. Sure, if he's getting grim, he's getting grim. Nobody's pushing him long. He has that clash to feed that information. So, yeah, needless swing from him. Kino also falls. The clash should be feeding this information now, but nobody's capitalized on it. Diaz trying to fight on 2 fronts. There's a swing from Gomez. Great cover, and it's now into a 3 versus 2. Fish was on the rooftop this whole time. Where was Fish? Are you kidding me?
Oh, poor Fish. I'm sure he's getting chewed out right now because, yes, indeed, the rest of his team was dying on sight. It looked like a really good execute. Now Dream is going to have to vault into the freezer with Diffuser alone. Spots Iconic on the Clash, but again, can't do much about it. Neither of them have the utility. Fish doesn't have any nades either. They're both being slowed inside the freezer and awaiting the collapse at a man disadvantage inside the freezer. They're stuck in a choke point here. The plant will be attempted to come out from Dream as Fish tries to cover, constantly being zapped and trying to do damage. He will down off Iconic, but there goes Dream down in the process trying to attempt the plant. The impact will clean it. And with 15 seconds, it's Fish alone in the 1v2. Recollects the diffuser, jumps on top of the balcony, and that will end it as Fish drops off the perfect crossfire for M80. They will walk out of this round victorious, seemingly when they shouldn't have.
Yeah. But I think that is the showings of a great team in Siege. That really sets, a good team from a great team is being able to win rounds where you have no right winning. No right winning. As soon as it went to a 3 versus 5, and we're seeing that sledge just push up so far into red corridor, I'm sitting there thinking, wow, this is great. Aggressive from Oxen, they can just collapse now. But then the kills out of nowhere. Young Diaz, massive kills inside that coat. Phenomenal work from him. Gomez just barely got there onto that kill onto the sledge. And then it took me to Fish on the rooftop. I'm a patient man. I'm a patient man, Rob. But I have big doubts about him so far this game.
Listen, he wouldn't be on the roof without a reason. That's the only saving grace here.
What was the reason?
I don't know. I don't know what the reason is, Harry. I just know there has to be one. You don't make it onto a team like Oxygen if you're not being told to go to the roof when the rest of your team is pushing. I don't know what the idea is. I don't agree with the idea. I'll just say that much point blank. But there had to be a reason.
Well, whatever the reason is, it's costing them rounds. A 4-1 half as it stands, Rob, for M80. And they go to the top floor. This is a site that we haven't seen. They went everywhere but here, and they will go for it the final time around. We have a castle barricade set up. A lot of teams would usually go for the mirror window since they are available. Very strong for that top floor. Can shut down Piano, for example, just null and void. But they went for the castle strap. This is, pretty classic. You try and lock yourself in towards Piano, in towards Cigar Shop, hold it down as long as you can. They have lost Spoit, though. They've lost the Warden. There is a Ying on board from Auction. That is the worst operator that M80 could have lost, Rob.
Oh, this is looking like an immediate collapse through the skylight. The smokes, the candelas, they all start pouring. You got a pre-punched castle barricade on the left bar, mini door. There goes Dream trying to get a plant down in the smoke, but he has to bail out as Iconic will drop him. The Nitrocell goes in errantly. It will not connect. Fish will reacquire the diffuser now as he stands at a 4v4. Foxay still repelled on the heaven window. Try to cut any more crosses or swings out of Cocktail. And it seems like that fast plant for Oxygen here has been aborted as they tried to get that first attempt in, and now they're having to refocus.
They tried to use the ram to cover the sound off the plant going down. The only issue now is if there is players below, they can use that vertical against them. They have lines of sight onto the diffuser. They have a line of sight onto the door frame in towards Cigar Shop. Gomez does see ahead and tries to go for the swing, but look how deep Ying just pushing in through the bomb site. Closer and closer they will get, but no plants are going down at the moment. Newers is there with that G36C. Eliminates Kino. Pistol comes in for Gomez. It is a 1v4 to clutch. The Ying will go for the plant, but it's only a matter of time. I think all angles should be covered. A couple of red pinks here or there, some yellow pinks also. Yogo, where are you going? Get shut down. But Fox on the rebounds. Oxygen 4-2, Rob. Not too shabby in that round.
No, not too bad at all. And I actually did like the composure there from Oxygen. Their first attempt, like you said, covering the sound with the boogie drone and inside the smoke for Dream. Unfortunately, he gets picked off by Iconic, and you can see everyone on Oxygen just kind of halt for a second. Yeah. Just kind of wait it out and then proceed walking back into the bomb site with the setup they had. It's a really good hesitation there to be able to draw out as much utility from the side of M80 as possible. That being said, for Oxygen, you only pick up 2 attacking rounds, so we stand at a very standard scoreline of 4-2, when it looked like maybe Oxygen should at least be at a 3-3 scoreline heading into the half.
Yeah, great point you made about the composure from Oxygen. We've seen that they didn't move until Yoga had dealt with Iconic below. We've seen the Dogby go downstairs in towards reading, win that engagement. So yeah, there's been good moments from Oxygen, but I think still the bad outweighs at the moment with a 4-2 scoreline. M80. I would say losing the ward, I think Spoit, that's twice now where he's just gave himself up for free. We've seen him do it downstairs in that restaurant hold, just swung double window for no reason. Again, gives himself up very early on as a warden against the Ying. That's gonna spell, you know, doomsday for anyone in that cocktail bar. So M80, they're now on the attacking half, which is always the tougher end of Kafe. Kafe just in general, Robert, it's a difficult map to get into. You know, the top floor, you either go through windows or you drop a hatch. Not the two most favorable ways to get into a building.
Not at all. And Fish is going to use one of his Valkyrie cameras
doesn't work
outside.
anymore.
For 10 seconds it does. It gives you some intel on anyone repelling. Oh no, is Fish gonna go for the jump though? He's got the yellow ping, he's looking for the repel. He does a little bit of damage on the Spoit, and Iconic has been downed outside of Wedding window as well. Not entirely sure what happened here. The window is closed. Did he fall off the roof?
I think he did.
That's a hard roof to fall off of. You have to actually have a bad day to fall off that roof.
If there's a will, there's a way.
Suppose so.
I don't know what he did. Anywho. Okay. M80, I mean, they've wasted a minute, and this is just this is why the attack's really difficult. This is getting into the building is such an issue. Very similar to Oxygen, I would say, as M80 very slow, haven't got really any control at the moment of any room in the building. Diaz has taken a lot of damage. That quick aggressive swing from Yoga has sent him down to a very low HP number, down to about 20 HP or so. But it's only going to be a matter of time, I think, before Oxygen really start to pressure these players of Oxygen. Oh, an overpeak from Newers. He did well to kill Kino. That's the Dogby gone, a good operator to get off the board, but still gives himself up an M80. They have control of that top floor. This is where they want to be.
Swapping mags!
What a good skeleton key and pick up there for Gomez as he'll shred through Fish and again spots another one inside of Reading. Didn't actually track that he did spot one underneath his skeleton key though. Gomez doing a good job ripping up the floor, looking to displace as many anchors as possible out of Reading. This is a good top floor dissection here for M80 on their first attacking round. Should be noted here though that getting down to the bomb site again, you're only going to have about 30 seconds to do so. This is much further reconstruction that Gomez is doing than we saw from Oxygen though. A drop down the dining hatch with an attempt to hit Gomez 2 floors up. Valiant, but unsuccessful. Spoit will now turn his attention towards the pillar's door, trying to walk in, taking some damage of his own. So lots of damage done to these attackers of M80. They might have a man advantage, but they certainly don't have the health advantage. Dream will spring right up from inside of dining, trying to hold down, and there goes Fox grabbing Iconic as well. So now it's just Diaz and Gomez trying to push their way in towards dining from the Reading hallway. Looks like Dream has it on lock here. Gomez gets picked apart by Foxay from above. Diaz will trade it with 8 seconds left. He walks into a crossfire. Yaga will clean it up, and Oxygen, again, they survive a mining and dining defense.
It must feel just so great if you're Oxygen, knowing that no matter what, Dream's going to be in sight like an automated turret ready to kill anything that enters. It has to be a great feeling, because that's what that guy does, you know? I think for M80, the time just really put pressure on them. Taking upstairs, I think they got in, about a minute 30 or so, and then it's time they start getting back down. You have a minute to go, then you have to go for the drone. It's a lot to do, but for Oxygen, that's the way they need to defend this. Aggressive, do what M80 did to you guys. Make it difficult for them. Just don't give them the free entries into the building. Put up a bit of a fight. So yeah, a lot better from Oxygen. Gets their first defense on the way. But now we'll have to see how they deal with the basement. This was a site that just did not go well on the attacking half for Oxygen. Let's see if M80 will have the same issues. M80 have brought in a big operator that I think is going to be great to have for the kitchen, and that's going to be the Monty. Monty gives you the options of really double pushing both sides. Sending a Monty +1 towards Bakery is a really good strategy if you just want to almost distract the defenders and then send everyone else through the back. So I think having the Monty is going to give them that bit of information, and can also bring along some extra hard breach gadgets, which, as we know on Kafe, can never hurt.
Also, just the most soft breach you could ever ask for. You've got a buck, a ram, and 3 breach charges on Spoit's ace. So no soft floor will remain safe as they attack towards the kitchen, which is exactly what you want. There's a lot of soft floor above popular anchor positions and power positions inside the bomb site. So if you're able to force a Montaigne in there with kill holes from above, the availability for the defenders to be able to survive out inside the site itself is going to be very low middle way through the round.
Shall we touch upon Spoit, Rob? I haven't actually mentioned him, which obviously Jesse and Jacob and Lexi all thought that I would have, because EU Wonder Kid, I think that's what they call them. I don't see it that way, of course, but not looking too good. 2 and 5. Is this a downfall of Spoit? Is this washed era? I don't know. Maybe.
The downfall of Spoit.
It could be. People have been preying on this. I know so many people have been preying on this.
Game 2 of stage 2 of the regular season in groups is the downfall of Spoit. Oh boy.
No, I mean, obviously I think Spoit has really moved away. Just his actual role in the team has moved away from that just brain, fragger who moves in, really powerful and operators like Iana. The coaching staff have really molded him into a very flexible player. He plays a myriad of roles now, like he's on ace, which is something that I think a lot of people would never have seen is Spoit play an ace, for goodness sake. But that's just the way M80 are. They're a very flexible team.
Well, yeah, I think you've seen that through the entire M80 roster. We've seen a Wamai passed around, I believe, through 3 different players' hands on their defensive side. They're just super flexible. They're toolsy. They can play just about anything to fill any position, and they have different strengths and weaknesses to play those certain operators in different attacks and different defensive setups. Gomez here, very wary of a flank. He's got the skeleton key out, and he does spot the legs of an OXG defender attempting to run a flank up red stairs. There's attention back towards the bomb site as Kino has made his way in with the fuser. And like I said, there's nobody home for Oxygen. All the soft floor above ripped up. There's one man in Rice behind the prep window, and that is it. It's Foxe getting stunned out, and he's not going to be able to swing out here with the amount of holes above him, and the coverage from M80 is perfect.
Yeah, this is where M80 can really excel and using that verticality. This is where really Auction went wrong, was losing that ram. They didn't have the capabilities to open up everything. Look at that C4 dodge, pulls out the shield, blocks that damage, but there is still going to be the yokai drones that they need to try and go through. Newers will swing in. What a play from Newers, picks up Diaz, eliminates the multi, keeps on pushing through. A triple for Newers in the round. Gomez all by himself, and he knows it's lost. My goodness, Rob, when the world needed him most, Newers appears.
Newers coming down and jumping off the top rope to be able to insert himself into the fray and absolutely decimate M80's planting attempt there. And honestly, if you have an IQ there for M80, that probably goes a lot better knowing that the yokai's there. The yokai, again, like you said, if Dream wasn't going to be able to physically be on site, he was always going to have eyes on the site to be able to relay intel to the team. Again, much better positioning there for OXG. They scurry out of the bomb site. Foxe stays on just to make sure no one can absolutely rush all the way through the site and get a plant down in kitchen. But man, as honestly, as best you could have played that given the scenario for Oxygen, because there was nowhere other than Rice where Foxe was that you could be safe on that bomb site.
I always forget about Newers sometimes, but he is that guy for Auction, isn't he? He's incredible talent. We look at what he did at SI this year. He was on fire. So yeah, always forget about him, but no, he's always there. He's a great player. 4-4, Oxygen. Square things up. M80. We looked at the start of this game, Rob, and we were thinking, oh well, better get the break ready because it was going really quick. But no, Oxygen have really dug their heels in. I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. The defense, just a little bit of the perfect timing where they just all collapse. That's what we need to see more of from them.
Yeah, I think this is a very, very different performance than what we saw in their attacks. I think, obviously, it's Kafe defensive-sided. We're aware. There are ways to coordinate Kafe attacks a little bit better, so I'm sure they'll run over that in the VOD review and say, okay, these are areas we could improve. But these 2 defensive rounds so far, these have looked pretty much flawless. There's not much to complain about here if you're Oxygen on the defense. And for M80, it's, again, just a little bit of time control and, unfortunately, not knowing that the yokai was there to spot you out and no one there to cover Kino on the plant. It's these very small errors that Oxygen are making M80 pay for tenfold.
Valkyrie has been a big highlight for both sides. Have been using her religiously at the moment. And we've seen some IQ mishaps here or there. Let's hope there's none on the side of M80 as Spoik looking to see if he can scan them out and ping them for his team. Equally, a decent amount of Solus as well has been ran by both sides. A great operator for Kafe. You can see everything that's going on. May it be people on the rooftop droning in. You can see people on rappel droning. It just gives you just that little bit of heads-up information for your team.
Swing here from Spoit into the middle of Piano. We did see the outline of one peeking out towards the middle of Cocktail. Even C1. And the peek coming again. Crouch angle right up against that bar. It's a tough angle to hit as an attacker through the Cigar Lounge door. Now opening up angles in towards Freezer will be Kino. Again, trying to push their way across. This is the bomb site though, so they do have time to try and rip apart this hold from Oxygen, try and progress their way down the white hallway. The first Toxic Babe, or the last one, sorry, from Fish will be expended onto Pixel. Suspending the aggression from Spoit up through Pixel. Fish holding with a shotgun though, point blank range. Will get flashed out and
Great
Spoit
flash.
on the rush in will grab one, but not a second as Yaga with the perfect reaction will shut him down.
Gomez trucking his way down towards White, sees a player in behind the bomb. Diaz also opens up, eliminates Snowers, a good player to take down, but Yaga, he's dug his heels in. He's inside a freezer, but everyone else around him is falling. Foxa looking for the flank, but he may be too late. Yaga has to try and defend himself as best as he can. Stole the time for Foxa, who will make his approach, but nobody's inside of the shop. Nobody's in below the hatch. Will go for the swing, but now they know where he is. Dream being down. It's a 1 versus 4 for Fox to try and clutch up. Diffuser being planted. All they have to do is hold the angles. Swings in towards Piano. Nobody home. Moved in towards White Stairs, but it's going to be a matter of time. Impact goes out. Sees the player on White Stairs, but Gomez, hungry for the kill, picks up another. He's had a great game. Is that him up to 12 kills now, Rob?
Yeah. And honestly, a great flood there from M80 pushing into the bomb site. Oxygen, you know, that turn from Yaga inside a freezer to be able to shut that down. That could have got a lot uglier, a lot quicker with Spoit pushing in with a 1.5 and a nice AR on the IQ. But ultimately, Yaga with a great reaction. It's the rest of this team, especially Gomez. Like you said, up to 13 picks on the game now. And it's going to be an M80 timeout. They come away from a victorious round, and they call it tack timeout. Trying to reset here, and again, you only need 2 more rounds for the full 3 points. This is a very close back and forth game. Oxygen on the slightly favored side on the defensive side of Kafe. M80 just trying to game plan with attack timeout. Their last 2 attacks, trying to make sure they are as clean as that one. Try and walk out of here with 3 possible points.
It's just Gomez versus Yaga. Everyone else on the leaderboard's pretty underwhelming, I think, for the standards. I mean, even Newer's 8-6. He should be, you know, we're used to seeing him 15-6. You know, that's the standard that he plays to. So yeah, a little bit of a weird one. Not everyone really showing up in the lobby, but an entertaining game nonetheless. We haven't seen any of the tried and trusted M80 rushes yet, Rob. That's one thing that we know is always up their sleeve. They go for these crazy strategies that we think, wow, that's never going to work, but then they surprise us all. I wonder with the Ying pickup, is this perhaps one of them?
Could very well be. We've got a very large lack of hard breach unless we have can openers on the side of Kino or on Gomez. So the inability to rip open a hatch if it's reinforced for this mining and dining defense, or the dining walls themselves if they are double reinforced, like we saw in the Mirage game on Kafe.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. That was
that was a choice.
Yeah, that was indeed. But I mean, a lot of traps, which is going to be great if they are going to go for the rush. Even having the echo cams, just that little bit of information, you can send the drone around the map, see where they're coming in from. That's another bonus, just to have the Yukai drones in the back pocket. And of course, Dream, you know, he's never too far away from locking in that Maestro, is he? He's never too far.
No, that Alda is in very comfortable hands there, and we've got the Echo and the Maestro coming in. So a lot of intel on site, tandem with the Solus and a bulletproof from Yaga. There's no universe in which OXG should not be aware of what is happening on the bomb site specifically.
And this is just the information that you can get from the Echoes being able to drive that drone around the map, spot out where they are. Is this where maybe M80 is looking for some opportunity spotting, bringing in that IQ, being able to spot out, okay, there's an Echo cam here, there's a Maestro cam there. If we remove this, there's nothing else, we go. That could be an option for them, of course. I will say for Oxygen, it doesn't look as if they're ready to kind of like die on the hill of defending upstairs. There's very little reinforcements above. very little utility resources upstairs. A lot of the preparation they've went for is in towards reading, so they went for the more extension across in towards the mid floor. And then that also shows that there's nothing below. So M80, I think, have a really good opportunity of taking upstairs pretty quick, and really with very little annoyance from the defenders.
And yet, here comes the flank from Fish on the Solus. He grabs 2 for free inside of Piano. Spotted on a drone, he'll just retreat to his corner behind his toilet and bathroom. He will hold out, and Impact comes flying in to give him an escape route back towards the bar. Ying Candelas come flying out and disorient him as he'll start sprinting even deeper in towards Cigar. He's in the middle of bar, lockdown from the skylight, and M80. They thought, as you did, Demo, that the top floor was clear, and all it took was one Fish pushing in through Pixel to completely ruin their plans.
Yeah, there's a hole in the net. The Fish got out, and it's caused issues for M80. They lost the buck, they lost the IQ. Thankfully, they brought double hard breach, and Iconic is really making that work. That's a kill from above. Takes out the Echo. The Yokai drones will remain where they are, and they will not be able to deny the plant with the ability. But, you know, you look at the setup from Oxygen, Rob. M80 have done well to get 2 kills back. They've eliminated the Echo. But Dream's still alive. He's still got the L. They still got the cameras. There's goo mines still to be burned through. There's the foreign gadgets that you need to burn through. There's still so much that M80 need to do.
Swing from Yaga will decapitate Iconic, and he'll hit the top floor as well, trying to go for the flank. And Kino is actually blinded from one of Diaz's stun grenades. These evil eyes will persevere, and they will start stunning out Diaz's. Yaga will get 3 to finish out the round. And Oxygen level things back up at a 5-5 scoreline. Like you said, that utility was never taken off of the objective. Those evil eyes will last until the end of time, unless your attacking side can handle them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just big moments in the round. Fish, that double kill. Not only does it obviously get 2 kills, it clears away some strong operators off the board, but that moment of madness, M80 need to take at least, 15, 20 seconds to then think, right, what do we do now? And obviously teams scrim to try and theory craft what does happen, and you can go over that, but every scenario is different. And that really shows, the quick thinkers in the team, and teams who can pull back from those moments. Wow, comes down to the IGL, and of course, that's what you have to look at. So I think hitting a play like that from Fish, yeah, monster impact that it has. M80, a little bit shaken. I will say that I think they're playing very below standard for where they should be. I think communication is a big issue right now. I think that's a big hit.
Yeah, like you said, there wasn't a whole lot of setup topside for M80 or for OXG on the defense, and M80 walked into that top floor immediately, turning their attention towards the floor, trying to rip up towards the bomb site. Just the lack of awareness that Fish was up there. Again, he wasn't hiding anywhere special. He was in bathroom behind his toilet for the majority of the first half of the round.
He's just doing his thing. He's just, whatever he does in the bathroom, that's a man's business. That's nothing to do with me and you, Rob. But yeah. I think M80 really need to wake themselves up here, because Oxygen, I think, are slowly getting momentum actually on their side. I think these past rounds, Oxygen have been very dominant, very impressive.
Yeah, they're starting to feel themselves a little bit again. That sneaky play there from Fish. You've got swings onto the White Hall window, and Nitrocell going out the White Stairs window. So this is more of the OXG we expected to see. Seem to be a little more reserved and a little slower on attack, but here on defense, it seems like they feel right at home. And honestly, for M80, they're going to need to step things up to match that kind of level of play.
I wonder what M80 are going to change up. They brought in that Dokkaebi, which was missing from their last attack. I wonder if that's going to be the key, just to give them that little bit of information where maybe communication isn't 100%. Having the Dokkaebi calls is a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brain ability. You do a phone call, it's going to give you a good reward. That's why the operator works. So if you are struggling, Dokkaebi's always an operator to fall back into. Once again, for M80, Rob, it just seems to be a little bit all over the place. They're not really in the building yet. They don't really have control of one specific area. I'm not really sure what they're actually trying to attack. And the time, you look at some of the rounds that have happened so far, M80 have been really stretched in time. Equally, so were Oxygen on their attacks.
The top floor has not been vacated by OXG. Newers will persist upstairs and grab a kill for it. There goes Kino, another one for Newers, dropping Gomez. The top floor was not free once again. One man alone will stand on the hill, and he will die on that hill at the hands of Spoit. But again, 2 for the price of 1 for Oxygen on their roam top side. It's the best situation you could have asked for, and now Iconic, Diaz, and Spoit will try and work their way out of the hole that they are in. Spoit with the electronic sensor will try and remove any potential utility on the objective, including Valkyrie cameras that Iconic will spot. But honestly, this conversion to sight, we've still got one more smoke canister left in the back pocket of Dream. We've got a man advantage here, and it looks like Fox is going to go for the flank of Dreams.
Yeah, and the flanks have been very abundant for Oxygen. It's worked out really well for them. Even though there's a Nomad, it doesn't look as if the Nomads are set up in the correct position. Diaz is waiting for the call from his teammate to try and move in towards reading, but they do not know if Pillar's going to be clear or not. There goes Fox. Walks up red stairs. No flanks to be had. Diaz eliminates Fish. There's a 2v2, but as we know, there's too many players inside of the site that Diaz had to deal with. And Iconic gets finished off by Yaga. Oxygen on match point. Is this the first time that they've led inside of the game, Rob? I think it is.
I believe so, yes. Because M80 went up 3-0. Yeah, M80 was up 3-0, then 4-1, then 4-2. And then, yeah, OXG have won 4 of the last 5 rounds. So this has been an impressive run of form here for Oxygen. Like I said, they feel like they're a lot more confident on the defense. They're making plays that seem much more characteristic to their style of play. Swinging windows, launching nitros at windows in the first 30 seconds. Again, one man on an island being the beacon of light that OXG needs to acquire picks on the roam and be able to disrupt the attacking plan for M80. Again, it's back-to-back rounds where someone has had to step up and be an individual in that situation, but they've exceeded expectations, claiming 2 lives the price of their own.
Maybe Oxygen taking inspiration from M80. They are bringing their own clash into the kitchen defense. We've seen it had great success from M80 whenever they defended that kitchen. They will go for the Monty option again. I mean, the last round for kitchen, it looked on paper, it looked to be a good setup from M80. They had everything going for them. But one thing that, you know, Siege isn't played on paper. That's one thing that I think some teams, you know, forget about, is anything can go wrong, and a player like Newers who can make things go wrong, it's going to ruin your whole day.
Well, we got the ultimate war of slow, which is Montaigne against Clash. This should be a very, very interesting potential final round here, as Oxygen will want to wrap this thing up in regulation. Like I said, claim all 3 points that are on the board today. And M80 now, just trying to salvage 2 points out of this. They've lost the availability to claim 3 points, and it looks like M80 is trying to send their way through Bakery to start things off. But like you said, the Clash inside of Bakery is going to make this next 2 impossible.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what's the best way they can deal with that. One way that I think has been really strong, and a lot of people don't know about it, is EMP the Clash. Then you don't have to worry about the electrification gadget, the taser inside of the shield. It's one thing that a lot of teams sleep on. In goes the EMPs, will miss as she has rotated in towards prep, and that information should be fed out. So they need to try and disable that shield before they get their own shield in towards that Bakery counter.
Looks like we're getting another flank here. I believe that was Fish rotating upstairs, and Yaga will join him. So again, we're having the flanking Wamai and the flanking Smoke heading to the top side as Kino continues to take zap damage from Fox's Clash. They are down a man as Spoit got the opener onto Newers somewhere in all of this. The entry into Bakery is now successful for M80 at the midway point in the round. They've got nobody upstairs, all 5 members within about 50 feet of each other, and this double flank coming out from the top side from Oxygen could be devastating.
Have they double reinforced red walls? I think they may have. They've reinforced the wall that looks in towards Coat. So Dream, I don't think has much of a say in this round. Hopefully M80 should be able to spot that. And they should be able just to walk in. That's a big issue for Oxygen and their setup. That's why we see the double rotate, Rob, is because they realize that and they then have to try and take the vertical approach. Have they, or have they reinforced the left side? Oh, no, never mind. They reinforced the wrong side of red walls, which, I mean, it's a bit of hit or miss, but then you can walk in prep a lot easier than you can the other way around. Oh, dear.
M80 will try and pour into the bomb site. Iconic will at least cut down Dream at the front door, so no use of the Yokais anymore. This is Fish that is rotated back downstairs on the Womai. And it seemed like Yaga was still upstairs as he claimed that life of Gomez. The collapse into the bomb site. Kino's going to need to go for a plant here. Here comes the return from Fish. He grabs one on exploit, but ducks back out, waiting for the approach from Red Stairs. Fish taking a lot of damage, down to about 25 HP, but the plant is still not going down from Kino. A beautiful shot from Diaz as Fish gets taken off the board, and you still have Fox and Yaga upstairs. Fox on site trying to slow them down with the zap damage, but Kino's getting the plant down momentarily, but he has to pull off. 7 seconds on the clock, and they will try and rush up and knife Fox, try and drop him down as the plant is going down. He's just turning for the diffuser. Fox on the 180. Are you kidding me? The clash, the YouTuber play, and that's Oxygen taking it in regulation.
Oh my.
Foxy, take a bow.
In what universe does he get away with that?
There's no universe. Stop baiting Keck. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that needs a deeper explanation, and the desk will have that for you on the other side of this short break.